9. I hope that you're doing well, and thanks God that the exam was very easy. That's actually a very amusing news. So, in today's session, we will continue speaking about the Muslim civilization. After our Prophet, peace be upon him, died, what happened during that time. In today's session, we'll speak about division, split, Islam. So, before we start, what is the meaning of division?
Parts or
Apart, yes. So simply
if there
division.
is disagreement between two groups, division will happen.
Nice. Disagreement or apart or even split, right? So during the Muslim civilization, once our Prophet peace be upon him came, first of all, Muslims were scattered. Scattered means they were everywhere. They don't have any place to gather them until our Prophet transcended from Mecca to Medina in Hijrah that we have studied already. Okay, and in Yathrib or Medina, which was called the Medina after our prophets, of course, there they started to construct the first Islamic civilization. After that, they started to go back to Mecca, and from Mecca they started to spread Islam all over the Arabian Peninsula. And from the Arabian Peninsula, started to go further into Africa, into Asia, and also into Europe, until they conquered and they had controlled over many lands, and many civilizations accepted Islam and Muslims to be their caliphs or to be their leaders. Later on, some groups started to arise between those ashes. Those groups started to make the split of Islam. So if we look objectively, of course, at the Islamic civilization, we will see that Islamic civilization was like any other civilization. It started from nothing, only Prophet Muhammad, and then it started to move to Yathrib, and then Islam started to arise, until it reached its summit. Yet, because of division, starts once again to decline, until it became stable right there. Okay, so of course it didn't go back to here, but yet it's not in the summit any longer. Okay, guys, so here how the Islamic civilization works. We started from nothing and started to arise until we reached our summit, and later because of division and problems among the Muslims themselves, problems started to happen. So what do you know about the division of Islam, or what could lead to the split of Islam? You can type, you don't have type in the disagreement between. Okay.
Tribes.
Ryan, yes.
Began to argue that who's gonna rule.
That who's gonna rule? Armas?
No, teacher. Say the question again. Is it after
to the split of Islam? Come on. Islam is a civilization. It started from nothing, only our Prophet and those who started to believe in him, and later started to arise until it reached its summit. And from the summit, it started also to decline until we are in a middle ground. But after we reach that summit, the division, the split, is the one which helped into the decline. So what can lead into that split, into that decline? Why would Islam split? Islamic civilization, of course. No, we're not speaking about the religion. We're speaking about the civilization, okay? Because Islam is whole, is complete. cannot be split. We're speaking about the civilization. Come on, guys, give me your opinions. It's not necessarily to be true, just ideas.
People began to make their own things.
People
Create,
began to believe in their own ideas, began to make their own ideals.
yeah,
Nice, Abdullah. Bravo. What else? Abdurrahman al-Mudayfir. Mishal Hanaki Sultan. Come on, if you don't have a mic, type in the chat. Conflict between Sunni and Shia. Nice, bravo, bravo, Raya. Very good, very excellent point. The conflict between several groups, including Sunni and the Shia, or as we call them in Arabic, Shia. Jameel. Very good. So this can lead to the split of Islam, right? So once again, to study that objectively, we are just studying a book of history. So to become objective, so you have a civilization. This civilization started to arise from nothing, right? And once it arose, it changed the whole world. But right now, do you really think that this type of civilization will not have enemies? Do you think that the civilization of Islam or the Islamic civilization has enemies or no?
Yes,
Why, Abdullah? Why, Abdurrahman?
because every successful thing has an enemy.
Because every successful person has enemies. Nice. Great. So, who might be the enemy of Islam?
Non-Muslims.
Muslims. Okay. So, of course, there are millions of people who can become enemies for Islam. So, first of all, the non-Muslims, as Abdullah said, because they believe in their prophets and they refuse to believe in our prophet. Consequently, they become enemy with us. Like the Crusades, for example. Do you know the Crusades? Have you heard about the Crusades?
yes, teacher. Yes, there were wars, battles.
Then you do. Can you see my screen?
No.
Yes.
Yes, no.
Okay, so once again, so the first people are the non-Muslims because they refuse to believe in our traditions and in our Prophet peace be upon him. Number two, the hypocrites. The hypocrites. Hypocrites means non-ritual people, the people who are very bad, doing bad deeds, the thieves, the rapers, the people who just take advantage of other people. Okay, so those people they must refuse Islam because simply Islam prohibits your bad deeds. Every bad action you're doing is prohibited in Islam. So they are gonna fight Islam, right? And in order to fight Islam, they have various of ways to do that. One of the ways is the direct conflict. The direct conflict, like come with your arms and I with my arms and soldiers against soldiers and we start killing each other. That's a direct method. But nowadays, it's no longer worthy. So what about destroying the beliefs of Muslims? So other groups who dislike, of course, the Islam and need to destroy Islam are trying to destroy our own beliefs. And in order to destroy our own beliefs, they tend to make the conflict between Muslims themselves. So I don't need to bring my men and start killing your men, and you will start killing my men. I'm gonna lose my soldiers. So why not just make you Muslims split. And after you split, you start fighting each other. So you kill each other. And I'm just watching behind the scene, or as we call in Arabic, behind the curtains. Okay? So some people needed Islam to be split. Consequently, they started to make various groups of Muslims, including those Muslims are the Sunni and the Shia. Okay? Got the idea?
Yes.
Alright. So, to speak about division that is split Islam, when Muhammad, peace be upon him, died, Muslims disagreed about who should be chosen to lead the community. The split between Sunni and Shia Muslim have profound an impact later over the Islamic history. And to speak about this point, do you know exactly what happened after our Prophet, peace be upon him, died? Have you studied that? What happened after Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, died?
Yes.
Yeah, what happened, Abdurrahman?
The Khalifas came.
The caliphs came, yes, but what was the thing, the behind the scene? What happened so that the caliph came? And did all Muslims approved Abu Bakr to become the first caliph or not?
Oh, no, not all Muslim.
Not all of them, because some of them even retrieved from Islam, right? And they converted to Christianity or even worshipping idols or whatever they were doing before Islam. That's why Khalifa Abu Bakr started to have fights with them. But let's come now to understand what exactly happened. So we'll speak about the first point and then I will explain everything. Differing ideas about the leaders. Okay, Abdullah Al Frayan, can you read?
Yes, differing ideas about leaders. One group of Muslims felt that Muhammad had designated, designated his son-in-law Ali to be his successor. They were called Shia, Shiites after Shiat. What's the word, teacher? Can you read it?
Sheets, or in Arabic we call them Shia. Whatever you need to call them, it's okay. So it's just a noun. In English we call them the Sheets. In Arabic we call them Shia.
Or followers of Ali. Shias believe that the true successors to Muhammad are the descendants of Ali and Muhammad's daughter, Fatima. They believe that these descendants, called Imams, are divinely inspired religious leaders who are empowered to interpret the Quran and the actions of Muhammad. Another group felt that any good Muslim could lead the community, since there could be no problem after Muhammad. This group divided and fought among themselves as well with others for issues of the, who could be defined as a good Muslim. The majority of Muslims eventually compromised around the view that the successor of Muhammad should be a pious male Muslim, Muhammad's tribe. This successor is called a caliph and is viewed as a political leader of the religion's community without any divine or prophetic functions. Members of the compromised group, which forms the majority of Muslims in the world today, are known as Sunnis, since they follow the custom of the community or Sunnah. The Sunni believe that inspiration comes from the example of Muhammad as recorded by his early followers.
So after our Prophet, peace be upon him, died, Muslims has three opinions. Opinion number one. Okay, some people believe that Ali must be the first caliph. When you ask them why shall Ali become a caliph, they will say simply, number one, Ali was our Prophet's cousin, so he's the most close relative to him. Not only this, yet he married his daughter Fatima Zahra. Number three, Ali was entrusted to the unshown knowledge by our Prophet. And here that's a big problem, actually, guys, because some of the Shia they believe that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, has provided Ali radiallahu anha with some knowledge that he did not reveal to other people. Even they say that knowledge is 100 doors. Knowledge is 100 doors. Only few were shown to people, and Ali has the ability to access them all. Okay, so for example, if we come to study that, we will find out that this is some sort of, yeah, could be accepted and could not be accepted, because not everything shall be shown 1400 years ago, of course. If you tell people 1400 years ago that there might be another planet and aliens living on that planet, they will just say, come on, are you crazy? It's impossible, we are the center of the universe. They didn't even know about the universe back then. Yet if we come to ask anyone right now, do you believe in aliens? Like 90% he will say, yeah, aliens do exist. We're just one planet in one solar system. There are hundreds of millions of solar systems in the universe and billions of galaxies in the universe. So the percentage of an existing planet in the universe is very, very highly recommended, right? So showing that to people back then was not so good. So simply, some people believed that Ali should be the successor. Why Ali should be the successor? He is the most close relative to our Prophet, peace be upon him, and also he married his daughter Fatima. So the successor must be a direct descendant of our Prophet, peace be upon him, like Ali or his sons Al Hassan and Al Hussein. But here we have a very huge question to be asked. Okay, actually, it's a funny one. So it reminds me of the Christian, unfortunately. So for the Christians themselves, they believe that Jesus Christ is God, right?
Yes.
But the question here is, did Jesus ever told them that, oh, Christians, here I am God, worship me? Did Jesus tell them that?
No.
In the whole of the Bible, Jesus never said, oh, I am God, worship me. It's not existing in the 76th version of the Bible. Okay? Yet, they say that he is God. And here is the same issue. Ali himself told him, I'm not successor. I'm just a regular Muslim, just like you. Yet they come and say that, no, you are the successor. That's the whole problem of the Shia. So Ali radiallahu anh, did not claim to be the direct successor. He did not claim that to have a knowledge more than any other of the Prophet's followerships. Consequently, why do you think that he is the successor? The man doesn't say that he's a successor, and yet you say that he is the successor. And that's the problem of the Shia. The other group number two, okay, they feel that any good Muslim can be the leader of the community. And actually, that's the rational group. Okay, so any good Muslim, it's not have to be Ali, not have to be Omar, not have to be Ahmed, not have to be Abdurrahman. Any good Muslim, okay, because all Muslims are good in nature. By their nature, they are good. But any good Muslim, a one who understands this religion, knows about our Prophet's tradition, knows about the commandments of Allah, know about how to judge among people and how to spread the peace, all of that, if they are gathered in one person, then he can lead the community. Because after all, we are Muslims and we know our rights and we know our duties. We know our rights and we know our duties. So, a leader just to organize the society. He doesn't have to intervene in my own life. So any God Muslim has the ability to lead our community. Since there could be no prophet after Muhammad, because our Prophet, peace be upon him, is the last messenger from Allah. So any good Muslim is the one who can lead the community. Yet still they stopped to define what is the meaning of a good Muslim. And here started the opinions to vary. The majority of people back then, at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, they said that, the successor for our Prophet must be a male Muslim, and he must be from his tribe, our Prophet's tribe, from Quraysh. Why, guys? Because they were very close to him, and they had most of the knowledge of Islam. So they have most of the knowledge of Islam. Then they are good Muslims. So once again, group number 2 and group number 3, you don't have to disagree. You are seeking the same thing. So you are speaking about those from our Prophet's tribe because they have the knowledge that our Prophet started to spread. So they are good Muslims. Consequently, they can lead the community. And of course, they were called caliphs, starting from Abu Bakr, Omar, Uthman, and Ali, till the rest of them. We had only, of course, 4 caliphs, and Umar ibn Abdul Aziz was titled the 5th one because they spread peace and Islam, and the community was very, very modernized in there. They started to question which forms of majority of Islam in the world today are known as Sunni. So for us, we are Sunni. Because we follow the Sunnah of our Prophet, peace be upon him. The Sunnah is the Prophet's tradition, what you have been examined in today. Because we follow that Sunnah, we follow that tradition, consequently we are called the Sunnis. And we are actually, guys, for myself, I'm speaking for myself, I do not hate the Shia, although that they have very, very, very extreme thoughts. I only have pity on them. Why? Just imagine being born in a society of Shia, being everything that you hear since you are a very young child until you become a very, 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 very big man, okay, or a grown person. All what you are doing, okay, or what you are listening is about the ideas of the Shia. Consequently, what happens? You have their ideas, right? If you are born in an American society, you will speak their language and you will have their ideas. If you are born in an Arab society, you will have their language and also you will have their ideas and culture. So the people in the Shia, I have pity on them. Of course, until they grow up, and after 18, now after you become 18 years old, you become fully grown. So now you can identify what's right and what's wrong. But I have pity on those people actually, because all of their life they only have one opinion, one thing. The media, their sheikhs or their imams provide them with only one idea, which is about their beliefs. And okay, so regarding the beliefs of the Sunnah and the Shia, Abdurrahman, can you read that, please?
Okay. Sunni and Shia beliefs. Like the schism between Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox Christians, the division between Sunni and Shia Muslims has survived to the present day.
Always, unfortunately, and Shia remind us of the Roman Catholic and Orthodox. Both of them are having the same thing because the Roman Catholic and the Orthodox, both of them are Christians. Both of them are Christians. Yet this group hates the other group, and that group hates the previous group. And exactly that's what's happening in our Muslim society nowadays. Sunni hates Shia, and Shia hates Sunni. Yet you are a Muslim after all. If someone, our God says in the Holy Quran, come to a common word between us so that we worship no one but Allah. So if someone has a misconception, we just need to guide him to the straight path, right? So you don't have to just hate anyone. If anyone is doing something bad or something wrong or he doesn't understand something, all you need to do is to provide him with the truth. And once he has the truth in front of him, he will come to the true path. Okay, continue, Abdurrahman, please.
Members of both branches of Islam believe in the same God. Look to the Quran for guidance and follow the pillars of Islam. However, Sunnis and Shias differ in such areas as religious practice, law, and daily life. Today, about 90% of Muslims are Sunni. Most Shias live in Iran, Lebanon, Iraq, and Yemen. The Shia branch itself has further split into several different subgroups.
So once again, the members of both branches believe the same God, because after all we are Muslims, so we both believe in the same God. Yet look to the Quran for guidance, okay? Because we take our constitution from the Holy Quran, number one, if you can remember, number two from the prophets, and also number three from the measurement. Later, they all also believe in the five pillars of Islam. Yet, however, both Sunni and Shia differ in such areas as the religious practices. They do not practice religion as we do. The law, the daily life, okay? And almost 90% today are Sunni. So the Shia are very, very small group, and they are living in Iran, Lebanon, Iraq, and also Yemen. The Shia themselves are divided into several groups. Last thing, Abraham, over the centuries.
Over the centuries, the division between Sunnis and Shias has sometimes been a source of conflict. As when Sunni rulers held power, they often favored other Sunnis and deprived Shias of wealth and power. When Shias gained power, Sunnis often stood to lose. This sometimes bitter rivalry remains a source of tension in the Middle East today.
Alright, unfortunately, once a Sunni leader came, okay, as a leader for the Muslim, the whole Muslim nation, okay. So, as a Sunni, I will not give the Shia power because we disagree. And the same thing happens when a Shia leader gains power. He will take the power of the Sunni ones. Consequently, that left us nothing but bitterly rivalry remains. So, and it's a source of disturbance and tension in the Middle East. Even nowadays, Sunni and Shia do not go along, simply because they do not come to a common word. They do not try to understand each other and try to guide the faulty one to the straight path. And that's not, of course, what Allah said. Allah said that, and if two branches of Muslims had a fight, fix among them. Okay? So, unfortunately, another group started to arise, which is the Sufis. Have you heard about the Sufis before?
No, what is it in Arabic?
In Arabic, as-Sufiyya.
No.
Have anyone heard about al-Sufiyya in Arabic or the Suf? If you have heard about them, write in the chat. Yes, dot anything, raise your hand. If you didn't hear about them, just write no. Oh my God, we're dead. Alright, the Sufis, they are branch of Muslims, yet they are practicing very extreme ideas of Islam. How? Simply, they think that, let me ask you a question first before we speak about this. So, if I ask you, for example, Abdurrahman, can you live without your laptop?
Without what?
Your laptop.
No.
Can you live without your phone?
No.
Without a car?
No.
Without a house?
No.
Without going to the mall?
No.
So all of these are sort of luxurious life that we Muslims nowadays practice, and we cannot live without them, right? So simply, the Sufis, they live without all of these branches, all of these things. They tend to live into the deserts apart from all other luxurious forms of life, live alone in the desert or away from other people, isolated, and they only practice some sort of meditation and prayer. Sometimes they perform some of dances or singing for Allah, of course, not for singing itself. Okay, they're very excellent in poetry, and they make rhythms and rhymes and hymns also to praise the gods. Yet they live isolated from other people. So they talk Islam to its extreme levels. So the Sufis emerge in both Sunni and Shiite branches of Islam. A group called the Sufis emerged. This group, they are Muslims, mystics, who sought communication with God through number one, meditation, number two, fasting, and also other rituals. So they seek communication through meditation, fasting, and other rituals. The Sufis themselves were respected for their piety, and some were believed to have miraculous powers. Of course, that's not true. Like Christians, monks, and nuns. Also, if you know that the Christian monks and nuns, they live in temples or in monarchies, very, very, very far from people, away from people, isolated from people. So the Sufis for Muslims are like the Christian monks and nuns in Christianity. Some Sufis helped spread Islam by traveling, preaching, and also being good examples to others. They carried the faith to very remote villages where they blended local traditions and beliefs into Muslim cultures. So simply, they started to spread Islam via traveling from one place to another. So far, so good.
Yes.
In March 2016, India hosted its first ever World Sufi Forum. During the event, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi praised Sufism as Islam's greatest gift and suggested that the faith was an alternative to more political extremist interpretations of the religion, akin to groups like the Islamic State. So, what exactly is Sufism? Well, Sufism is not a branch of Islam like Sunni or Shia, nor is it a sect or denomination. Rather, Sufism is the spiritual and mystical philosophy of Islam. It's focused on a direct connection to God by foregoing material goods and relationships. Not unlike Christian monks or other ascetic groups, Sufis dedicate themselves to Allah through meditation, repetitive prayer, and nonviolence. But while the concepts of Sufism are inherent in all versions of Islam, practitioners who wholly dedicate themselves to spirituality are called Sufis. Sufism arose less than a century after the founding of Islam. At the time, many Muslims were concerned with the religion's increasing materialism, which they believed would interfere with a spiritual connection with God. The word Sufi is an Arabic term for mystic, which itself was derived from suf, or wool. Sufis have historically worn wool as a projection of worldly clothing. By about the 11th century, Sufism had adopted a system of fraternal groupings called orders. In these spiritual schools, leaders taught their followers the principles and rituals of Sufism, which included writing books and poems and reciting hymns. In fact, the 13th century is known as the Golden Age of Sufism, as the greatest mystical Islamic art and literature is believed to have derived from this period. By the 16th century, Sufism was deeply ingrained in both Sunni and Shia Islam, and had spread throughout Persia, India, and Central Asia. The most well-known symbol of Sufism is the whirling dervishes, a Sufi order that originated in 14th century Turkey. It's known for its repetitive spinning dances that unite the follower with God, and is a popular tourist attraction in Turkey. Today, Sufis can still be found all around the world. But according to the Pew Research Center, the belief system is most common in sub-Saharan Africa, where about 35% of Muslims in the region are said to belong to a Sufi order. Sufism is also prevalent among Muslims in India, Thailand, and other Southeast Asian countries. Sufism has seen a resurgence in popularity as a direct alternative to the growing radicalization of Islam. Sufis have a legacy of philanthropy and missionary work, and are known for their nonviolence, tolerance, and personal sacrifice. During the Sufi Forum in India, Prime Minister Modi said, "At a time when the dark shadow of violence is becoming longer, you are the Noor, or the light of hope." Modi reportedly hopes to make India the center of what he calls the world Sufi movement, or the large-scale effort to use Sufism as a cure for jihadist extremism. World leaders have made similar efforts in the past in countries like the United Kingdom and the United States. But whether the ascetic, nonviolent practices of Sufism can overcome the spread of radical Islam is yet to be seen. But even though Sufism has influenced both Sunni and Shia Islam, there is a huge rift between these two Islamic sects. Find out why by watching this video.
The Sunni-Shiite conflict isn't even really about religion. It's about
Alright, grade 9. Any questions so far about the division of the Muslim groups, Sunni, Shia, and also Sufi?
No, thank you.
Alright, grade 9. I hope that you have enjoyed this session and see you tomorrow. And do your best in your exams.
Okay, thank you.
Very welcome. Bye.
Bye.